morning, everyone. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, June 1st. We're in the home stretch. And today is Wednesday. I was not here yesterday because I had a personal day off work to take care of some things that need to be done with. And so unfortunately I came back today to find several suspension papers on my desk. A couple of my little darlings have been suspended for a couple of days. While that makes me sad that they're suspended, I can't say I'm all that shocked because, as I've said before, I do have a high needs room and some of my students just don't do well when there's a sub here. Over the Memorial Day weekend, I did go to the teacher store. I didn't buy very much, so I'm going to turn the camera around real quick and show you some of the things I got. And I bought this pack. Over the weekend, I already cut it up and took it into its pieces. I thought that was so cute. It's assorted black and whites with polka dots and zebra stripes and big dots, little dots, normal stripes. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but it really wasn't that expensive. I think the whole thing was like $4.99. And so it's like, wow, that will just totally fit in with the classroom design once I figure out what I'm going to do with it. So I don't know if I'm going to use all the stars just because I don't want the stars to take away from the apple design. But I just thought the colors were cute. And you know, labels and box like this, you can always find something to do with these. So another thing I got at the teacher store was a brand new cherry scented stamp pad because I love the smelly stamp pads. These are like the best. Let me see if I can get this focused a little better. So if you want to get one of these, this is from Center Enterprise Inc. CE. So fun. And I bought a new whistle because my whistle died. I don't use it very often, but every now and then you just kind of need to get their attention. And I was so bummed. I have shown you guys my sub plans many times, and I've gotten so many comments from you guys that, oh my gosh, where do you get the pretty paper from? And the paper is just a pack of stationery. Well, they discontinued my pretty paper that I've been using for years, so I bought this one instead. And it's cute, but I don't like it like I like the other one. I think the other stationery I used for my sub plans was just so much cuter than this. And then I also purchased one more pack of the red polka dot border because I ran out and I needed more. And then I bought from the teacher store a 50-foot roll of the fadeless black paper, which I'm about to use right now because I need to redo this one, and that's my first task this morning is to redo this bulletin board. Oh, and look, remember last video I said that I was going to cluster the lanterns? Doesn't that look so much cuter as opposed to just having them hanging straight down? So I love the cluster of lanterns. And then over here, I did the same thing in this corner of the room. I clustered the lanterns into like bunches, and I just think that looks so much more adorable than just having them hanging single-handedly one by one. So, and if you're wondering why I only have, sorry about that. If you're wondering why I only have lanterns in these two corners of the room, it is because my classroom is a portable and it's outside. So there are motion detectors in my classroom, and we have the air conditioning units over there, and they're the heaters / air. And in the middle of the night when they turn on, they create a draft on the ceiling, and if you have something hanging in the middle of the room, it'll begin to, you know, rock back and forth, and it'll trigger the alarms. So it greatly limits what you can hang from the ceiling in this room. So I've learned the places to hang things where the blowers won't disturb them. They're out of that little eye zone of the motion detectors. Although I've always hated my drop ceiling in this room. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. And this time around, I thought of something really clever because one of the reasons I like the pom-poms and the fans is because it does add dramatic color to the room and it doesn't move to trigger the alarms. So I decided to hang pom-poms right off the ceiling. And basically they don't move at all, and it adds a little pizzazz and a little pop of color on what is otherwise a really ugly ceiling. And I love how it turned out. I only have 6 of them hanging, which honestly was more than enough because I don't want the room to become so overwhelming that my special needs children just like kind of go on like stimulation overload. So I just have a couple hanging, but I was thinking that, I brought the kindergarten teacher in because she always wants to hang things from her ceiling. I was like, look at this. If you wanted to hang like a pink one for table 1, a blue one for table 2, a yellow one for table 3, because every year she's has to like take down her things because she wants to hang like little table center signs. So she loved the idea. So I was glad I thought of that and was able to share that with her. So, but with that, I'm going to stop rolling right now because that is a big bulletin board, and for me to do it by myself takes a little time. So, talk to you soon. And I'm back. I'm sorry I didn't share with you guys during my prep time. We had art today for our specials, and art is a push-in, and so I couldn't really vlog while the art teacher was in here teaching a lesson. But I did get my board all put up, and it's amazing how stunning it is once you actually get it up. It's a big chunk of color. I love it. So, and I did this one the same way I did the one on the other side of the room with the solid on top of the white polka dot. And then I wanted to take a moment and show you the projects we were working on this morning. And not so much projects, but really the lessons. I still have some trouble who are really struggling with fractions. So this morning we did this activity where we went through the process of folding this paper. First we folded it into halves, and we colored half the paper red. Then we folded it up and we colored 1/4 green. Then I had them bring this side into here, making this box, which we colored yellow. Then I had them bring up to the middle, which made these 2 boxes, and we colored 1 orange. And finally I had them fold this here, which made 2 purples. And I gave them the fraction 1/2, and I gave them the fraction 1/4. These fractions I did not give to them, so they had to work into groups to figure out what fractions belonged in those boxes. And I deliberately folded the paper in a way that didn't make all the lines. There were some lines there, but there were not all the lines there totally. And then as groups, they had to figure out that this was an 1/8, this was a 16th, and these were 32s. And then once that was all done, that was when we said, okay, this is 4ths. Now we're doubling it into 8ths. Now we're doubling it again into 16ths. Now we're doubling it again into 32. So they learned how, they were able to visually see how each time we break it up into another set of equal groups, you are doubling your original amount of pieces. After everyone had this paper filled out, I gave them this question. Mom made cookies and put them in the cookie jar. Bob ate half the cookies. Jack ate 1/4 of the cookies. Jesse ate 1/8 of the cookies. Sarah ate 1/16 of the cookies. There are 4 cookies left in the jar. How many cookies did Mom cook? And on the whiteboard, I wrote in these 2 boxes 4 cookies left. And then the children had to work backwards to figure out that there was initially 64 cookies in the jar. And some of my kids got it really fast, but a lot of my ESL children and my special needs children, this visual representation really helped them to solve that question. So that was one of the things we did for math this morning after we did our math talks. And math talks is something that is, I want to do a video on this one pretty soon. Math talks. This is a great book. It's kind of expensive. It's cheaper on Amazon, but it basically is a way to teach mental math to the children. And it's also a program that gets them talking about their math. So not only does the Common Core have math standards, but there's also the 8 mathematical practices, and Math Talks really addresses those mathematical principles. I love math talks because you've got them looking at the math, they're persevering and solving a problem, they're talking about their math thinking, they're applying math reasoning. Oh, that's a really good book. And so not now because I got a lot of stuff going on, but maybe during summer vacation I want to do a video on the math talks books. That one and how I use that step-by-step model drawing, because they work together really, really well, and they give something to the everyday math program that's just not there. So, and then for science right now, if you look at my room, it is a complete mess because we ran out of time. We're working on lunar cycles. And so we are putting our moons where they belong in relationship to the Earth and the Sun, and where you would find the light and dark side of the moon. And we're also learning our lunar cycle vocabulary, and we've been taking all of our notes. So this is all going to lead into this activity, my sun, moon, and stars. This is going to be one of those lap books where it's an interactive lap book where we're going to have all the pieces and we're going to use all of our information to cut and put all this together. This is really, really cute. In fact, do I have the main? Oh, I don't have the main picture there. But anyway, it's adorable. So we're going to turn all of those boring notes into something that's really fun, interactive, and I'm really excited to do that one. So with that though, I'm gonna eat lunch because the girls went for a walk around the block. My foot is acting up today, so I decided not to go for a walk with them because sometimes I join them. They should be here any second from their walk, and we're gonna have lunch. And with that, I will talk to you again later. So today is over, thank goodness, because spring fever has so totally set in. This afternoon they were all but bouncing off the walls. And I don't blame them. It's hot. The room, even with 2 air conditioners going on in here, this room is really warm and like uncomfortably warm. We're definitely cooler than the main building because a lot of the rooms in the main building have no air at all. So air conditioning, definitely a plus, but it's just not quite enough. But I do want to take a moment and show you the Science Sun, Moon, and Stars lap book we started. It's coming out great. So we only started it this afternoon, and this is the cover, my Sun, Moon, and Stars unit study, and the little name tag. And we've only got this one done so far today. And the first one is uses for the sun, and then we'll be doing the writing in here later. And our little types of stars, blue giant, red giant, giant star, red dwarf. We'll get little illustrations on the stars, and those say in there. And then what would I weigh? And you lift this up, and we find here my weight for Earth, then times on the sun, and then times for the moon. So we'll be getting all of that work done in there. And the kids were really excited to do this because we haven't done something like this, so this is like a new project, these lap books. And so it was a lot of fun, a lot of cutting and gluing, and they were actually pretty good today. They kept up. Sometimes when you're doing a ton of cutting and gluing, you get like kids who just dawdle and dilly-dally, and you're like, come on already, you need to cut faster. Today they were actually keeping up pretty quickly, and I was very careful to only pass out 1 sheet of the cutting at a time, so this way there weren't all these little pieces of paper lying all over, they weren't losing their pieces. I did it in a very organized way, and so we're all in the same place at the same time. So hopefully tomorrow we will finish the assembly of the science lap book in the morning, and then tomorrow afternoon a lot of the information that's in our notes and our book and the data we will get transferred to the lap book, and that will be a perfect interactive study guide for them to have to help them get ready for the test, which will be next week. Probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week will be the science test on the sun, moon, and stars. So I'm really enjoying that. That's fun. It's really a lot of fun, and the kids were into it. And with that, my room is such a mess right now from all the scrap paper and the cutting and the gluing. But so yeah, it was good. It was definitely good. In fact, I had a pretty good day today. Few little incidents, but we got our science lesson on the lunar cycle done this morning. We did our math lesson with the fractions and the big story problem, and then the lap book, and we did our daily 5 today. So it was all good. Very, very good. And with that, I'm going to wrap up for today. See you tomorrow. Happy Thursday morning. Welcome back again. We're back in the room and running some errands this morning, getting some things done. We're on our way to the copy machine. And I apologize if my eye is coming out a little pink on this because I have this eye infection that just won't go away. I've been medicating it, doing all kinds of things to make it get better, but unfortunately, one of the side effects of my RA is I don't really have an immune system. So that's what happens. Finally, only took 2 weeks of waiting, but the Xerox machine is up and running. Woohoo! In a previous video, I mentioned that you want to check papers faster or sooner as opposed to later. It's really, really useful if you can grade the papers you collect the day you collect them or the next day. Yesterday in class we did an activity learning the lunar cycle and the phases of the moon and the moon's position in the sky in relationship to the sun and the earth and the shadow effect that's caused by having half the moon in sunlight and half the moon being on the dark side. Well, I'm currently looking at the papers. I was getting ready to grade these papers. And as I'm looking at them, I am realizing that while the children knew where the new moon and the full moon go, well, not even all of them, some of them have the wrong place, a lot of the children do not have the moons in the correct positions. So I was initially going to grade this paper for a grade, but now I'm not going to grade this paper. I will put a check mark on it to tell the kids that I've looked at it, but this will no longer be a graded activity. And now I have to decide what's the most important thing. That they know where to put these little pictures of the moon, or that they can actually see a moon phase and identify it as, a waning gibbous or a waxing crescent. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to review the lesson we did yesterday. And I have a little video clip that I found on Discovery Education that I will probably show. And I'm not just going to put the video clip on, make them watch it, and then do another activity. I like to, when I'm actually showing a video clip on the whiteboard projector, I will pause the video and we will talk about what's going on the screen. Because for me, a lot of the Discovery Education videos, they're amazing videos. But if you just put the video on and let it run its course, in my room at least, I'll have 3 or 4 kids who will get comfortable, put their head down, start to let their eyes close. I have other kids in here who will just tune it out entirely. So I like to put on the video, and as the video is going, stop it, draw their attention to the key points in the video. So I think what I'm going to do is after I review the lesson, show the little video clips that I want to show, and remind them that this is the moon phase you're looking at, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the moon phases in random order on the board, have them put them in the correct order, the words, and then let them draw for me what that moon phase should look like. So, because to me, the most important part of this here is that they know the names and can know what it looks like. Whether they don't know that it's at the 9 o'clock position in the universe sky or the 12 o'clock position, that much I'm not so much worried about. As long as they know where the moon is for new moon and full moon, that really is the key. But all these other ones, at this point, and the fact that it's already June 2nd, I need to decide what do I want to focus on? What's the most important thing here? So I'm going to edit the lesson, review the lesson, and then have them give me the information back in a different format to make sure that they're really getting the concept. The children are gone to lunch. I wanted to follow up with you on our science lesson. I did represent the information. I did use a video clip to show the different phases of the moon, and then I did a quick paper with them on having them tell me what they then learned. I'm going to turn this around. And I can honestly say they did much better this time. This time, I basically asked them to draw the moon phase and put the names of the moon phases in there, and they did a really good job, much, much better. And I was really proud of them because I focused really hard that when it comes to the moon, the light starts on the right. I mean, I had them reciting this yesterday and today. The light starts on the right. So that's how, the moon, just like the sun always rises in the east and sets in the west. Well, after a new moon, the light will always start on the right side, go across the moon, and finish on the left side. So much, much better on this one. And that's one of the things that teachers have to deal with a lot. Sometimes you teach something and you think, wow, I just did an awesome lesson. And then you collect their work from you and you realize, whew, they didn't get it. So you have to just go back and try it again, but hopefully it will work out. And so since I kind of followed up with you on their science lesson, I'm going to go ahead and have my lunch and yeah, talk to you later. Thursday is done, thank goodness. It's hot in here. Oop, I moved the trash. It is really, really hot in this room. And so I'm glad to be leaving in a few minutes. Just wanted to close out the vlog though before I did. Also, I wanted to show you something I did. I was having a real problem in my room with children congregating at the back of the classroom. Because initially, for much of this year actually, I have had a trash can right here under the pencil sharpener. But as I've said in previous vlogs, that pencil sharpener is god awful. It just eats pencils. It's totally broken. But yet the kids would still use the pencil sharpener as an excuse to come back here, and then they would drop the shavings into the trash can. Well, I took my heavy duty 3M tape and taped this sucker right up. So there will be no more sharpening pencils with this horrible pencil sharpener. And I removed the trash can, which was hiding that lovely stain. Now the stain's visible. But by doing those two things, by relocating the trash can to next to my desk and taping up that pencil sharpener, students have no reason whatsoever to now go to the back of the classroom anymore. And it completely stopped. There was a couple of times where, in the last couple of days, where a couple of boys would go back there and start talking, or a couple of girls would go back there and start talking the minute we were getting involved in like individual activities, or I was working with small groups. It's like, what are you doing? There's nothing there. Go sit down. And after like a couple of days of telling them to go back and sit down, that there's no reason to be there anymore, nobody goes there. Who knew just moving a trash can would solve what's been actually a chronic problem this year of people out of their seats and finding a reason to go to the back of the room so they could meet up and talk to each other. Because nobody wants to stand by the teacher's desk and sharpen their pencil and try and talk to each other when, hello, I'm right up here at the front of the room usually, or somewhere real close by. So, yeah. Sometimes if you have problem areas in your room, there's a really simple solution. I just wish I would have thought of this simple solution back in November as opposed to the last week of May. But them's the breaks. Anyway, with that, I do want to show you this, our Sun, Moons, and Stars lapbook. I am loving this lapbook, and it's coming out really cute. So here we have what I showed you yesterday, uses of the sun, types of stars, how much would I weigh. Today we got in our little fact book where we answer the questions in here, and then we put in our moon phases portion of this. This is so cute. I am loving this. And tomorrow we will label all the moon faces, and then our vocabulary will go into this pocket. Here is our constellation flip books, where we're going to draw in Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, Orion, and then we have types of galaxies, and it's a cute little accordion book. The children are absolutely loving this project. They really, really are. So we've now worked on it 2 days in a row, and this is what we've got done so far. And hopefully tomorrow, Friday, we will completely finish this up. And if you're thinking, wow, they did science in the morning and science in the afternoon, you would be correct. But we use FOSS science kits here, and our FOSS kit is getting picked up tomorrow. And like every other teacher, I'm scrambling to get it done. The lapbook was something I did on my own. It was not part of the FOSS science kit. I got that off Teachers Pay Teachers, but I'm loving it because it's going to summarize all that data into very easy to access, usable information. So it's great, it's adorable. But the FOSS kit, yeah, we're kind of scrambling this week to really hit science hard because M-step testing and trying to coordinate lessons with another fourth grade teacher that we were supposed to coordinate science lessons together, that kind of fell apart. And so there were several days where science got canceled and we did an extra social studies lesson instead. And then now it's like, oh no, got to do the science. Those things happen. That's just part of teaching. But with that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me in the future, you know the drill. Click that subscribe button. Also, I wanted to open up this video to Q&A. I've been getting several requests from people to do a question and answers video, and I would love to. But what I need are your questions. So send me you can either put the questions below in the comment box underneath here for me to address next video. If you want to tweet me the questions, you can go to my Twitter, Tina Beitler. Actually, it's Mrs. Beitler's class at Tina Beitler. Or you can go to my Instagram page and put the questions there. Maybe today I'll try to get a little picture on Instagram with a Q&A on it. But yeah, definitely send me those questions, and if I don't get to it right away, at least I'll have summer vacation coming up real soon to do a Q&A video and answer all those little bits of nuggets that I have to share, wisdom or not, I don't know. I'll do my best. Talk to you later. Have a good one.